Welcome to Book Thots, brand lifestyle podcast. We are thoughts for books, and these are our thoughts on books. I'm Adriana.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Jenna.
Three sisters stripping down one book at a time. Today, we will be reviewing chapters 30 through 37 for part 5 of our 10-week journey through Heat of the Everflame, the third book in the Kindred's Curse saga.
Before we jump in, we do have a content warning. Today's podcast is rated mature. We are Book Thots after all, so we're going to be using adult language, talking about adult topics, so please pay attention to who may be listening near you. Additionally, this episode will include spoilers for all 3 current books. Each episode, we focus on specific chapters, but our conversation will include the entire series. So if you haven't read it, today's episode is not for you. Lastly, I'm just going to apologize ahead of time. Maybe we, but definitely Jenna and I will at least mispronounce a name or place, like Ursula.
Or your cell.
It is what it is.
Ursel?
What is Weilersler? I pronounced Y. The Y. Jenna will be leading this episode.
And it's going to be a rough one.
Strip it down, girl. Strip it down, girl. Strip it down, girl.
Are we in Umbros?
Where's my dollar bills?
Okay, chapter 30. So we begin this chapter with the boring port facts, but being that the sacred sea surrounds everything, it does seem to be important information to note. Let's do the 3 that they noted because we don't get all 9 for some reason. Port Fortos, large but controlled by the Amarian army, and mainly deals in the transportation of soldiers and weapons. Maros seems to be the most utilized port for passengers and cargo, with its inhabitants using their magic to make the sun be up round the clock, and thus business at the ports is always active. Umbros closely rivals Maros in activity. It's close to the location as well, but offers something Maros will not. No record of ship or cargo is ever taken. Only the queen and her centenaries know what passes through. Now, nighttime sneak into hidden boat and contact time. But Zalaric is being very somber and not adding his usual quips to the conversation. Even his tone is sending messages to DM. DM doesn't dismiss this, but instead of dwelling on it or questioning it out loud, she takes the time to finally let her mind wander to what awaits her in Lumnos. Ew, I'm going to list this in order that DM does, and it's going to piss me off. Okay, are you guys ready?
We're ready.
We got our boy Teller, then Arlie, then she mentions fucking Henry, then Eleanor, who I'd argue should be next to Teller since they're officially blood sisters after all.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Vance and the Guardians come up. Why, we don't know, but Henry deserves to be here if anywhere and if he's going to be mentioned in the list. Then we have Mara or Moira and the Mortals. Icky, DM. That's just an icky order. She's also thinking about finally ripping the throne away from Regent Remus and rightfully ruling her queendom. Also, I'm guessing she plans to strip Remus of his regent title. Oh, and apparently the flame root is really actually almost gone. Woot woot. Next stop, action time. Luther was right. There's too much to be done in their own realm to be meddling in others. Unless your fight is actually going to include the whole of Amarion, then maybe get to know your enemies and your allies? Luther and DM drop back from the group so he can ask if she's having any more gut feelings. She lies and says no because apparently she's done with brutal honesty versus brick wall. Luther unconvincingly says he's not feeling like anything is off either. DM tries again to break down his walls, but Luther remains a brick of stupidity and actually shoots back at her that in war, people die. People you love die. Everyone dies. He tells her she needs no one to be the salvation of the realm, and she won't be allowed to lose herself to grief like she's done in the past. Let me just say, from DM's perspective, this is not the move, my guy. Not that he's really putting any effort to making the right moves anyway, though. Fucking Lahu. Luther. DM rejoins the group, obviously upset, but they all continue the forward march until they meet a dead end. Zalric stands there in front of the wall with his sad air about him and a warning that it's Umbros. He trusts no one, and they shouldn't either. But they go on trusting him because that's the only option they have. He unglimmers the crawl space in the rock. Dia makes eye contact with Zalric. She gets the same tug from her godhood, urging her to look. This time she gives in, and buried deep under shame and guilt, she finds a secret, but nods her head, saying she'll accept it to Zalric, and he sadly allows them to proceed. Luther goes first, obviously in so much fucking pain. It's insane. No one's saying anything. They're all through the crawl space, and the other side has been glimmered again when they come face to face with the cardinal. Zalric's contact that will be taking them from there. Goodbyes are said in which Zalric expresses his genuine, deep gratitude towards Luther, and Luther again says things to Zalric about his queen that make Diem's heartstrings pull. She thinks, if I'm worth fighting for, why aren't you fighting for me? Towards Luther, and he obviously hears it by his reaction. Taryn and Zalric have a flirty goodbye that makes my heart happy. And while everyone else boards the boat, Diem hangs back and shares a quiet conversation with Zalric, asking if she stays back, can everyone else get out alive? However, it's too little, too late to deviate from the trap. And in walks a familiar Umbros character, saying he didn't know he'd get to see Diem again so soon. I feel like the way Luther's presenting grief in this, it doesn't have to be that way.
No, but I also feel like that's what keeps holding him back and why he won't even acknowledge the actual true bond that they both have, because he doesn't want her to lose another person that she deeply cares for, acknowledging that, and then have the realm in her hand, basically.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
good point.
frustrating. Like,
Yeah.
you have so little time left that you even know about.
I just feel like maybe he's not giving Diem enough credit here.
Yeah.
Like when she broke down with her dad dying, there was a lot happening real quick for her. And I think it was a really big growing moment for her, too. I don't know that she'll react the same way if she loses another person that's so close.
But in Luther's mind, he's thinking, you lost your dad and that's how you handled it and you had me to lean on. Now, if you lose me and you don't have me to lean on, how are you going to handle it?
Yeah, those are all fair points. I agree. I just think that if he would be preparing her for the loss instead of hiding that it's going to happen, that the grief could manifest in a different way.
Yeah, his decision making is obviously questionable.
It
but
really
I
is.
also understand why he's saying that about grief, because he believes the fate of the world is in her hands, and the last time he saw her have grief, she shut down.
Big shutdown. I honestly think the code names are hilarious and wildly easy to decipher. If you're not looking to get caught, maybe don't choose the symbol of the house you belong to, Luther. That's all I'm saying. His name is Phoenix, and Courbois is the Phoenix.
Yeah.
And then the cardinal, you have bright red hair.
Yeah.
Would they know that that's the symbol of House Courbois, though?
I think it's, I, blah, 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 blah. Maybe not.
I mean,
I don't know.
I think I would choose something that somewhat relates to who I am, just so I can remember my code name. Like, you don't want to go too far out there, and they're like, what? Why did you choose that? And it's like, I wanted to think of the least memorable thing that you could have.
Well, I just also was like, I wonder if cardinals are actually a red bird in this world anyway. Like, maybe it
They
isn't
probably
so
don't
spot
have
on.
cardinals.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe it's not as spot on as I think it is. Also, everyone needs to pick a code name that's relatable to you right now.
That's fair.
I choose Shorty.
You choose
Shorty?
I'm short. That's all I could think
How
of.
tall are you?
5'3".
They're shorter. I don't believe
Well,
that. I
yes,
don't
they're
accept that as your
short.
code name.
All
I need
right.
something more specific to you.
More
Everyone
specific?
Yeah, Cardinal had red hair, and that seems specific to her in this scenario. Short is very vague. Don't you agree?
I mean, yeah.
She needs something
Okay,
specific.
well, you guys go then.
Ramen.
Yes, because when I look at you, I think, yeah, ramen.
You probably
That's it.
do. When do you want ramen the most? When you're with Garrett? No. When you're with me.
Okay, all right. So I'll be cheeseburger then.
Okay. Ramen, cheeseburger. Are you taco?
I'm taco.
Taco.
All
Easy
right.
enough. You're
There
welcome.
we go. I mean, obviously we can't with Luther and his shenanigans right now, or shit-nanigans that are going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
get me out of the emo prince phase.
It's
That's all
beating
I'm
a
saying.
dead horse.
It's a hard book to get through with him during this injury.
Yeah, because the solution is just so easy.
And he's like, it makes me cringe every time he turns her down.
Ugh.
Because we can all relate to some capacity of like putting yourself in that shoe, and then it's just like, that didn't go so well.
Or thinking you're in a safe space to put yourself out there and then being shut down.
Yeah.
I
I
can't.
agree.
I'm just thinking about if Garrett ever did that to me, I'd probably leave.
Leave him.
Yeah.
Leave him and the kids.
See,
Like,
I've never
bye.
experienced it with my
Later.
husband. It's more just the fact of knowing like they're really trying to like get to the point of that conversation,
Yeah.
and they won't even have it. They won't even fucking have it.
It's called the miscommunication trope.
It's not for
It's
me.
our favorite. Can't you
Not.
tell?
I think it's the
For
most
me.
realistic
It
out
is
of
the
all the
mis-
tropes.
yes.
It's the most hated, but also it's wildly
Maybe-
spot on.
Maybe that's why it's the most hated for us.
Because everyone's like, I hate that they're not communicating, and then their
But
own
it's realistic,
relationships and their
yeah.
own life, they're like, yeah, I know I could solve this with communication, but I'll leave that to the fantasy characters.
Also, is anybody else actually mad at Zalaric in this, or is everybody kind of like okay with him?
No, not once. Not an ounce of madness is sent towards his way.
Me either.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him, but like I understand like he's kind of in a shitty spot himself.
I think they're to blame. They chose a pickpocketer for their passage, and they're like,
That is fair.
He
how could
literally-
you? How dare you?
He literally told him the whole time, "This is Umbros. Don't trust me.
Yeah.
Don't trust me.
Don't trust anyone. You're gonna have
Can't
to pay
trust-
me. You're gonna have to pay me big. I want money, 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 money. Like Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob once again.
But then the realization that who she is later on in the next chapter is kind of like,
Yeah.
Oh, he's like, if I would have known that, I might have. No, I probably still would have saved myself.
mhm.
Chapter 31. This chapter is utter chaos with the entrance of Simon, whose name reminds me of an early 90s magician because of the spelling, maybe. I don't know, but that's where it hits for me.
Do you have an early '90s magician at top of mind?
No,
Like,
I
did
just-
you follow
all
them
I
in the
can do
90s?
is picture Sigmund and Freud, right? Like they're like over the top dressing with their tigers. That's what I picture.
I'm having a hard time visualizing them. I'm gonna Google it while you
Maybe you weren't into magic like I was.
I mean, I only know the psychologist, so I'm
Yeah, that's-
confused.
Sigmund Freud is a psychologist. That's why I was like,
No, what is it? It's Sigmund and something else.
I believe you.
It's not
just
Sigmund Freud.
But you
That's
said
what
Sigmund and
That
Freud.
is what I said.
So you can see
What
why I was.
is-
You can see why I couldn't picture him. You know the magician Sigmund Freud, half magician, half theorist.
my high school
Oh my
psychology class is
God.
coming back real hard at the moment.
What is that?
And his best friend Pavlov.
He was actually the girl that got cut in half.
This
It's
guy?
Siegfried and Roy. So I just,
So not even close to
Well,
Simon.
no, it's not close to the name Simon. It's just the way that it's spelled. It's all weird. It makes me think of
Oh, and Roy.
yeah, Roy. From
Oh, those
Siegfried,
two,
and I put
yes.
it with Freud.
I don't know these guys. I think
mean, I
maybe
would
your
recognize
age is
them.
showing here.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I don't know, but that's who I picture when I picture Simon.
I know that lion anyway.
I know who you're talking about now, Jenna.
Thank you. All right. Anyway, Diem feels him going through her mind, pulling memories no one else should see. Zalaric is telling her just don't fight back and everything will be all right. But Diem only sees one. Never mind. Make that 15 centenaries advancing. Still, though, she's a mother-loving queen. She should win this, right? She should win this fight anyway. She pushes all of them from her mind at the urge of the godhood to fight. But when she readies her magic for an attack, she's stopped by a warning that the knives look pretty sharp. What knives? Oh, the ones at everybody else's necks. Right. She wrestles with the idea of still fighting for a brief moment. Though hearing Luther practically beg for death, ultimately she decides it's better to go with them and the assurance that her friends will not be harmed. But this is Umbros, people. Remember, trust no one. The cardinal speaks up and tries to talk her way out of the confrontation, claiming to only have been their transport. She didn't know it was a crown she'd be transporting, and she'd never met this lot before in her life. Small blunder there for the bright red bird. Think carefully. He said he would only not harm her friends. She suddenly sliced through her own throat with her knife and collapsed. Diem and Luther are there in an instant, trying to find a way to save her, while Taryn throws himself in front of Zalaric, claiming they're definitely friends, who've known each other their whole lives. Simon replies for Taryn to save his lies. The deal the innkeeper made is being honored. Luther and Taryn turn their anger towards Zalaric, but Diem is like, yes, Simon, boring old news. I knew it was a trap all along. And continues to try and think of a way to save the cardinal, a.k.a. Jemina. Luther then turns his questions towards Diem. You knew? At first she ignores him, frantically still trying to come up with a way to save the dying woman at her feet. But he asks again, and she mumbles a yes in reply. Then I guess Luther leaves it at that and dives back into the chaos surrounding them, and Alix is calm and by Diem's side, asking how she can help. Diem says to cover her so no one can see what she's about to do. Next, what I believe happens is she uses her four toes magic of healing like she did with Lily. Jemina quickly comes to, but Diem covers her mouth and says not to let anyone notice she's been healed. She covers the woman with a cloak and announces to everyone that she's passed away. By the way, Simon has been throwing barbs at Diem and Luther about him denying her over and over again. While Diem can't really explain Luther's behavior either, she sees a way to use this side of Simon. Diem is going to play into Simon's obvious sexual side and flirt with him, praying to the old gods Luther will see through it and not get angry. And the whole gang is marching towards the Umbros Queen. So, did you guys also get the feeling of the 90s magician?
No.
I don't know that was my first reaction, but this conversation has made me chuckle.
And since I didn't know that those 90s magicians even existed, I still don't see it.
Yeah, it's all right.
I just wish his name was Simon. I hate that it's
Simon.
It is Simon.
Simon. I also hate the word centenary, like what is it? Centenary napkins?
Centenaries.
Centenary. I hate it.
Sanitary.
I don't like it.
Sanitary napkins.
I don't even know what that means. Are they centaurs?
Did you guys think it was the four toes healing magic?
I think it's just, whatever where the healers are, that's what it is.
I'm pretty sure it's four toes because that's the one that's only had the male queen, and that's when Henry bashed the only healers are they're weak and they're women.
She's been there too, so she could have that.
She should have that.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought, especially when it was like the shimmery, silvery light shows up too.
Can we just assume that Zalaric and Taryn have hooked up at this point?
Oh, it's pretty obvious.
Well, it's weird because they act like they kind of haven't later on when I was reading the later chapters, but here it stops him short, but it feels like he's about to say, even after we hooked up. I don't know. It just was weird how it was phrased here versus in later chapters. It's kind of like...
No, but when Diem and Taryn are talking and drinking alone at one point, he says, when Alix went to talk to her contact, Zalaric and I slipped away. And, he doesn't say what happened, but
it's just
he's kind of, blushy about it. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that if they didn't hook up, they've at least had a conversation that, you're the one for me kind of thing.
He mentioned that he wanted him to teach him the magical ways of what he could do. So I think he fully knows what some of that may be.
Ooh.
I also really think that Diem, if she would accept the fact that she has the Umbros power right now, when she's clearly just used it on Zalaric, that she could have stopped all of this from happening.
That was going to be my question, though. Can they control... I know the queen can, but can the centenary napkins, can they control several people's minds at once?
I think that's why they bring so many.
Because they can't.
I don't know, because it's also probably linked to how much power each one of them has. Like Simon's her first in command. And so
Mhm.
he probably has the ability to do a lot more than the lower ones on the totem pole.
Well, that's just my question, because then could DM hasn't obviously learned the power or know that that's what's going on. If she did, would she be able to even control several minds at once, or would it just be one at a time?
I think that hers is pretty. I mean, she does it later in the chapters. She even controls the queen's mind, and it's not on purpose. She does it on accident. When they're
What does
about to
she
all
make her
drink the
do?
flame root, she says stop, and she stops even the queen. And what about the barbs that Simon's like airing out Luther and DM's dirty laundry to the whole group, and everybody just kind of ignores it?
I feel like everybody kind of ignores it, because if Taryn and Alix are even just a hint of just a thoughtful person, they've picked up on already the bad drama. So I feel like him airing the dirty laundry is just voicing it, but they all know what's going on already.
It's still very frustrating for me that they would be perceptive enough to pick that up, but they can't be perceptive enough to pick up the fact that Luther's literally dying in front of them.
I had something highlighted in chapter 30 from Zalaric.
No.
It was, I have only the power I can afford to buy, such as the way of life in Umbros. And it was just like another confirmation of, well, yeah, you guys should have seen this coming. Don't be too surprised.
Zalaric being able to buy his power is just a sad reality of where he has been put in Umbros.
Yeah.
Well, that's where everyone in Umbros is put.
It's
Yeah.
kind of
Not just him.
Yeah, just a show of how they survive.
Yep. Chapter 32. Once done with the grueling climb to the Umbros Palace, the group is left panting. But they're not alone in that. Practically everyone DM sees is gasping and moaning with pleasure. The palace is stocked with indulgence at every turn. DM is talking with Simon and pretty much saying she bets he's forced himself on sexual partners before. Simon is not only offended, but actually disgusted she'd think that of him. He tells her if he were to ever do that, his queen would make him rip out his own heart and hand it to her. But DM doesn't drop the subject. She also says that he should have consent before going into someone's mind. He turns things around on her when he asks if she had consent to do what she did to the woman in the cave. That's right. He may have been blocked from DM's mind, but the Cardinal's was wide open. However, he says he'll let the woman live since she was punished enough for her treachery. DM also asks if Zalaric will be allowed to live. Simon doesn't actually answer her, but wonders why she cares since he betrayed her, even knowing that it could cost her her life to do so. DM doesn't really answer his question either, since she's kind of pondering the same thing, but instead asks if it will actually cost her her life, and he says that will be up to the Umbros Queen to decide. Simon now says he's going to have to take their bags. DM, being protective of her dragonfire, tries to flirt her way out of this. Fools Taryn in the process. Damn it, Taryn. But after Simon taunts Luther with the fact that once Luther's gone, he'll take very good care of DM, Luther pales and looks defeated. Seems like Simon isn't airing all the dirty laundry he's discovered. Then he ups and leaves them alone in the throne room. DM goes towards Luther, who is barely standing upright, gasping for breath and balance. Okay, that's totally normal for him, right? But is stopped when a hell-bent Terran strides past her, aiming for Zalaric, or Zal, as he refers to him. The two argue, and it turns into an all-out brawl that Zal is actually smiling about. DM makes it to Luther, and when she thinks he's upset about how she's flirting with Simon, he's actually fixated on her knowingly going into a trap, and since she hasn't explained she actually knew with little time to deviate, he's misunderstanding the situation. But you know how we like interruptions in this book at crucial conversation points. And enter the Umbros Queen and her Gryvern, accompanied by her centenaries. Taryn, Alix, and Luther have surrounded DM, and after being dragged to the group and thrust behind them, a stunned Zalaric. Everyone is to bow at the presence of the Queen, but Luther's like, "You gonna have to break it, Frenchie. I only get on my knees for 2 women, and you ain't one of them." The Queen forces them all to bow anyway. Umbros allows DM to call her by her name, but threatens the life of anyone else that dares to utter it. It's Ursel, by the way, or Ursel, or Ursula.
Ursula is what she likes to go by. Her friends call her that.
All right. Well, DM is maybe counted as a friend, but we sure are. We're friends. DM, being herself, immediately challenges Ursula. But instead of taking the bait, Ursula warns her against doing that in front of a crowd in her mind. DM takes the warning and offers to do her a favor out loud. Ursula says all she wants is for DM to be a crowned guest for 3 days. During the conversation, DM has learned her mother's execution has been stayed because the crowns need at least 6 votes in favor to proceed. Montios and Arboros have yet to reply. Regent Remus is refusing to make a decision until the return of DM, and Umbros is withholding her vote unless DM refuses to be her guest. Be our guest, be our guest, put out something to the test. That's a song. Luther is looking at DM, pleading for her not to comply, but with the mention of her mother's death on the line, he knows they're in for a tour, Umbros Queen style.
I feel like Ursula has to know that DM's going to be faced with trying to save Luther within the 3 days. Like she foresees that, or the god told her, because 3 days is oddly specific.
She continually sets it up to where it's going to be a choice between who she loves and the realms, or whatever the other side of it is. She says, just next chapters, I think, we're going to see her confront DM and test her in a way.
Yeah, I think it's kind of important though for the role that she's taking. It's why she wants to know how far she's willing to go, because then the reality is that she can't save everyone, and she has to kind of remind her that this position is going to have major consequences and sacrifices that DM needs to face. But so in my mind, I feel like she's teaching her a lesson. If there is any, vindictive manner behind it, maybe so, but it's not revealed quite yet.
I don't think it's ever revealed.
See,
but somebody hurt her.
We like our villain. I'm just so frustrated at the continual freaking interruptions and them not continuing the conversation. Ever. Never picking it back up. Oh, we got to come back to this. But
Yeah.
at the next opportunity, they start something else and then never come back to that either.
But my biggest thing is that, Ursula actually, she doesn't just breadcrumb. She may not give you the full facts, but she even in the next chapter leaves DM in a room of all the books to her advantage.
Oh,
she
yeah.
wants her to find things out. She wants her to kind of unravel the mystery of what's kind of her crown, I guess. But at the same time, I don't hate her for it because of that, because I feel like we're actually getting somewhere, which Arlie, it doesn't matter how many times you ask her, once she does finally confront her, you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
She's still being protective of you.
I wasn't referring to Ursula. I was referring to Luther and DM.
Oh, okay.
Continually not continuing the conversation.
Right, and that still is frustrating.
I like Ursula. I think that she is leading DM on, but she's also giving her information that she wants and needs. I think it's it is a game for her, but it's also a tutelage.
Yeah, it's both. But also, I kind of get this thing that she lost the love of her life, or she hasn't truly found happiness, so she doesn't want DM to have that either. I kind of get that from her.
I'm almost positive she had to kill her mate or something.
Yeah.
That she had to
Especially
choose.
when she gets up on the table later and she's like, you're gonna have to make that tough decision someday. Everyone's just at dinner, I was just trying to enjoy the mashed potatoes.
And then
Ursula,
everybody's nervously chuckling, ha, 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 this is fun.
Ursula and her outburst. I don't know. I mean, I don't trust her. I don't know what her motive is. I like her as a villain, but I don't think I like her, if that makes sense. There's something off with how she treats her people. I think we talked about it last episode, where it's is it any better than Lumnos? Maybe, but also maybe not.
Or Igneos.
The fact that forcing yourself on someone is illegal seems like a pretty high priority, but once again, I go back to the good hair day and killing innocent children. That might be a negative.
Well, also that is Zalaric's perspective that we're getting that from. That's not like, we don't have the full story.
Like, if she thinks that, like, believes that?
Yeah, well, we don't know why she chose to kill a family over why she chose to spare a criminal. We don't know her true motives behind that yet, or if we ever will, but that is how Zalaric and everybody else view her.
Yeah.
The Crowns even view her that way.
She's a little volatile.
She might be a bit.
I see it, too. I agree with everybody else.
I just think that she has been put in a position like Aemon and like Zalaric, and that she has to make these decisions that there's not going to be a good outcome with either decision that she makes, and she's made the one that she thinks is the best. And she's probably done it alone. And that's
with her
probably
Gryphon.
why.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Her Gryphon does like her, she says, too.
I want to say I think it's really funny that there's an elevator and she makes him take the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
That
was
does
that
make
is
me like
funny.
her. That does. I'm like, that's hilarious. There's this nice elevator, but only she gets to use that. So you're going to have to get your steps in.
Well, I thought it was funny, too, that the Centenaries had to escort them throughout the stairs as well. They usually get to take the elevators, but they didn't get to this time.
Had to keep a close eye.
All right, chapter 33. The group has been upgraded from wanted trespassers to honored guests. Their belongings have been returned with the promise that the Centenaries will no longer go snooping around in their heads. No promise that the queen won't, though. Zalaric has been included as an honored guest at Ursula's insistence that he's the ambassador for both realms. For the evening, Diem has requested that it be a private dinner of just their party, tired from the journey and all. Leeks and Taryn, followed by a shy-acting Zalaric, show up to her rooms for the dinner, but Lulu Loserface won't be joining them. Diem defends Zalaric to a cranky and pouting Taryn. She also reveals to them that Gemina is alive. Alix seems skeptical because she saw how close to death Gemina actually was, and Diem isn't ready to admit that she's got the four toes in magic. Diem begins to question Zalaric about the queen since he has known her the longest. He tells them that she's wildly unpredictable. She's killed entire families for small crimes while letting huge crimes go unpunished because she's having a good hair day. Diem thinks out loud what Ursula could be plotting with this 3-day stay. Everyone agrees it's probably because she's scared of Diem's power. Diem tries to brush this off, but all three come up with instances in which her power was so grand even Diem can't ignore it. Diem contemplates how much of an expert she is at denial, and thank God for this, like finally confronting the denial side of herself. Let's list the ways Diem realizes she's been in denial. She was made to truly believe she was mortal and lock all of her doubts away. She didn't just do this with her powers. There's been her career as the healer and her relationship with Henry, plus her feelings towards Luther. But she doesn't want to continue to live this way. She wants to face everything head on. But that will take strength and courage she's unsure she possesses. Dinner concludes and magic lessons begin. Diem accepts lessons from both Alix and Zalaric, while Taryn drinks himself to sleep. While walking Zalaric out after Alix has gone to bed, he questions how Diem knew he had betrayed them, stating he knows what it feels like to have his mind searched by the Centenaries, and how in the tunnels it almost felt as if Zalaric kindly lets her off the hook. And even though she might not be able to admit things to him yet, she makes up her mind that it's time to try and explain it all to Luther. Except when she reaches his chambers, he won't come to the door. And even though she can sense something's off about his aura, she just prays he hasn't given up on her yet. Does anybody else like referring to Luther as loser at this point?
What is it that you have been saying? It's like Lulu. What are you saying?
I don't know. I said loser, like lahu, zaher, from Ace Ventura.
Like Luther.
Yeah, like that.
Well, I don't know if loser's how I describe him.
Ugh.
He's just not being. Once again, I said the other day, Luther's usually daddy. Right now, he's being batty, but not in a great way,
No,
and
not in a good way.
behavioral.
It's true.
So that's frustrating. I do like that there is a line where Diem says, my upbringing had made me an expert at living in denial.
I know. She just proves right there, denial Diem. We've been calling her that the whole time.
Yeah. Well, you also call her Dem Diem, too.
I did do
Yeah,
that.
you did do that. I don't know if we're going to continue that nickname, but denial Diem, that is just who she is. And the opposite of denial, acceptance Diem. She's able to list off ways that she has been in denial. Not sure why there's not maybe more lines about Henry in this on denial, but I'm just going to accept the fact that she did list him.
She did put him in there.
It should be a longer list.
There's a moment when the Umbros Queen calls Diem clever girl. And I was just like, no. No.
Schemy, clever girl.
I just don't think that I would describe Diem as being very clever. She could be, possibly in the future, but I think the fact that she's been brought up having to deny all of these gut feelings all the time makes her a tad bit unclever.
She has clever moments.
I was going to say, I think she does have clever moments given the fact of how sheltered she was raised. And she is very intelligent. And she is coming within her power. It's just still acknowledging what power she can sense and feel before she can learn to master anything of it.
She's not really a schemer. Not yet.
Well, and I also get that she's not ready to admit it to Zalaric, who's just betrayed her. Like, I get that. You don't have to.
Right.
I'd like that she turns around and is ready to confront it with Luther and tell him what is actually going on.
There's a lot of confronting that needs to be done in that conversation.
It's true. If only he wouldn't have locked the door, and if only she was strong enough to get through a lock on a door when she can break complete force fields around stadiums that have been put there by the kindred themselves. 4G magic, if you will.
She needs to believe in herself more.
I think she's getting there where she believes in herself. But it would be nice if her main support wasn't an emo baby.
Oh, Luther now?
Yeah. I do like how Alix has been stepping up, though.
Yes.
That makes me happy.
Even though Alix truly believes only in herself and Luther. And we find that out shortly.
Which I mean, it's honest.
Well, she isn't honest. That thought is honest, but Alix is not honest with herself about that.
She's not at the beginning. You're right. She does kind of like understand, I think, maybe.
I don't think she ever admits that that is her thought. I think she's let down with herself that that's her thought.
Maybe. But she does have a very good point, and Diem even says she has a good point.
Yeah, she's like, that stings, but also I understand why you...
Like, I wasn't brought up in the royalties. I don't know how to converse with other royals. I don't know what is the right dress code for things. I don't know any of that stuff. But is that all we need to be royal?
Is nice clothes?
And knowing proper etiquette?
In the past, it seems that that is what necessary skills.
Honestly, it still is.
Princess Diaries.
Doesn't
She
matter.
needs to learn them.
Doesn't matter.
Like in modern royalty, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Doesn't matter who you are. If you weren't brought up the right way, you're denied. Denial Diem.
Denial Diem, denied Diem.
Chapter 34. The next morning, Diem wakes Taryn up as he's mumbling about Zal in his sleep. He and Diem have a heart-to-heart after Taryn compares Diem to Aemon, which is the lowest of the low blows, according to Taryn, probably. He quickly apologizes and elaborates on how even though Aemon was older and had the ability to heal, he wouldn't heal Taryn, saying they had to prove they were strong and that there was no choice. Diem makes some solid points about how Aemon went through the same trauma and how grief and trauma manifest in confusing ways sometimes, even the victim siding with their abuser. Taryn doesn't seem convinced, but he agrees that Zalaric isn't Aemon, and he shouldn't let his experience with one hurt dictate how he handles another. Also, that maybe Aemon deserves some grace. Taryn also tells Diem that while Alix was busy with her contact, he and Zalaric did share some alone time. Dear God, please let this ship not be the Titanic. Luther shows up literally looking like he's on death's door. and trying to have a conversation with Diem. And that's right, you guessed it. They're immediately interrupted when Simon comes to escort Diem to a private dining with the Queen. Like right now, no waiting around. We gots to go. Luther makes a threat that if Simon touches Diem without consent one more time, he'll take him down when he goes. When he goes. Right in front of Diem's face. Before they can go meet the Queen, they must get Diem looking acceptable. Diem questions Simon about what he thinks the Queen wants from her, but he's still confused about this as well. He does tell her that the Queen has been contemplating the riddle frequently. Also, during their discussion, something in Diem's godhood stirs when she's questioning if Simon is lying or not, and she gets the feeling that she can know for sure he's not. This next part of the chapter is an absolute treasure trove of information. Granted, we don't get every answer we're looking for. We at least get more to go off of. As the queens are seated, Ursula has Diem bringing forth her crown that's been hidden since her attempted escape from the Guardians, and it pulls the word incredible from Ursula's mouth. Weird. Surely she's seen the Lumnos crown before. Diem starts off by asking why exactly Ursula has voted against the execution of her mother. Partly, it's just to piss off the crowns, but also Arlie has a part to play in the future. A future the Queen is withholding from Diem. She also asks if it's actually Ursula she met in the alley last forging day, and the Umbros Queen shows Diem how she can use her magic to alter her appearance. But Diem is able to push against the Queen and force her out with a shimmering show of magic. Ursula read her mother's mind, and yes, although Arlie thinks herself very clever, she's read her mind multiple times. Anne knew about the attack on the island, but chose not to stop it. She seems tired of how things have been going since the Blood War. Plus, the forging magic has already been altered since Diem's blood touched the Heartstone. But she won't tell Diem the answers to all of her questions. However, Arlie may be able to shed some light on the subject of a daughter of the Forgotten. Maybe a trip to Fortos for the questioning of the prisoner of Amarian. After all, Diem is a crown and has every right to question a criminal from the realms. Ursula shows her true distaste for the current rule of the 6 crowns' consent. The kindred made it so that all 9 had to agree for a reason. There's going to be so much that has to be sacrificed now that they've deviated so much from the kindred's intentions. After all, Lumnos is not the only one who speaks to her disciples. Blessed Father Umbros has much to say about Diem. Okay, enough of that. Now time for Diem to be tested on her commitment to find peace for Amarian. And the way that Umbros Queen poses all of her questions seems to me like the purging of her centenaries is a sacrifice she agonizes over all the time. Just the pure experience emanating from the questions. Can you watch as all your loved ones die? Can you send them to the grave yourself? What of your soul will you allow to burn? Diem passes the test in answering, and even allowing Ursula into her mind to read her intentions and thoughts. She's big time committed, and all of her soul will burn to achieve her goals. Okay, cool. Now let me show you to my library. Sophos might even envy it. The doors of the library are massive stained glass depicting the 9 crowned kindred in front of a giant burning tree with a fucking redhead leaning against the trunk. Who else is redheaded?
The cardinal.
Okay. Who else?
That was just perfectly timed. I mean,
It's Arlie. Anyway, knowledge is power, baby. Read up. Your friends are all at the bathhouse, so this is the best way to spend your time.
You think that's Arlie's dad?
No, I don't think it's her dad. There's too many.
you just said yes.
I meant like their descendants.
Grand.
Yes.
They're descendants of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think that that's actually her dad?
Oh.
Diem's dad?
Diem's dad? No.
Okay.
You do?
I thought it as a possibility.
I definitely have it still as a possibility in my mind.
I
The
don't remember.
redhead at the bottom of the trunk
I
of
don't
the tree
remember
of the
color of
Everflame.
Her dad's head.
Arlie's hair is red, people.
But we don't know what her
Are
father
you-
looks like.
Are you sure of this?
Yes, we are
You look.
sure
Did
of
you look
this.
it up?
Yes.
You sure her hair isn't
Yes.
silver?
Remember, Diem has that like vision, and she sees the redheaded, and then it turns around
so
and
confident
it's
the last time too. I can't even.
Wait.
What was that? Onyx?
Yeah.
Yes.
What vision that she has that Arlie turns around? I don't remember this.
That Arlie turns around, or the
Yeah.
dad turns around, or the man that she sees.
I don't know, but one of the visions, she's looking, and there's a redheaded woman there.
What is her dad's name? Do we get it later?
Mm-mm. You guys, we've already talked about how Arlie might be an actual like
No, I agree with you.
Everflame lady, and that's how she has all this knowledge and knows all this stuff about the tree of the Everflame.
Oh, fuck. I think I found out.
I'm on pins and needles here, Adriana. You're killing me.
Yeah, what have you
Okay, where does
discovered?
this come from? Okay, it says her biological father is name, a descendant who was violent and dangerous, and with whom her mother, Arlie, had a secret relationship. Her mother hid this truth from Diem for many years, and the discovery of her true parentage is a major plot point in the series.
All of that is mentioned in the book. What are you meaning?
That's 100% mentioned, but like, where are they coming up with the name?
Let me see the. Well, we haven't finished the. This isn't the end of the book. It might be in the book.
Yeah, but we have read it before.
Yes, but
I
I
don't
wiped-
remember that.
Umbros Queen came in. It's mush up there.
I can't even tell you the 9 realms. Like, I don't have that
I don't
memorized.
remember details of this book as much as I
I don't remember
surprisingly
faces.
would have, but
I can't
you
recognize
can remember
faces.
faces.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I don't think, because Arlie has a lot of knowledge about the mortals, like true heritage. So I think that is a very realistic theory. I was
could
just
be.
seriously curious what her dad's hair color is, because I also think, once again, I thought maybe that her dad is either daddy or the forgotten sibling. Now I'm thinking about the journals that we're about to get to, the journal entries. He's probably just a sibling, and that probably is the dad leaning against the tree. But I don't know if she's related to them.
Well, I didn't come up with the fact that that could be her dad leaning against the tree. I didn't at all. I didn't think that she was the Everflame dude's baby.
Yeah.
I think that we learned she's the guy that looks like her with colorless eyes that
Yeah.
she sees in the vision. That's her dad.
I know. I was just trying to see what his hair color was in case that is also him in the tree picture.
Well, it could be because she was born with brown hair and no, was she born with red hair and brown eyes? I know
We will never know. Arlie will
don't
never
know.
confirm that.
All I'm saying is I just wanted to see what his hair color was, because if it's also red, maybe that's him in there. But then I was just thinking how we get the journal entries, and the journal entries talk about the brother who was so cool with what happened on their home world. And I think that's her dad that they're talking about. So I think he's a forgotten sibling, not the tree. Well, that's already wrong. It says in the second book of this is all wrong.
That's why I'm like, where is this?
Don't read
being
that.
pulled
That's all
from?
wrong. Don't
AI,
Google this.
You can't trust AI, guys.
You
That's
can't.
the first thing that literally pops up.
Okay, I wanted to say something before I forget about it. I do like this reflective moment on her talk with Taryn to say, like, hey, not everybody handles trauma the same way, and your brother is also a kid and also human.
Okay,
Right.
so there's a time when DM's very clever and very good, and
I wouldn't even say that's clever. That's
Yeah.
just being human, just saying, like, hey, I've seen a lot of trauma before, and everyone handles it differently. And he was also a kid living through that trauma, and he handled it differently than you. But it just made me think that there's this football player right now on the Chiefs team that has taken like 30 days. I don't think he's played this season, and it's unsaid what he's actually going through. Like, the Chiefs team has just announced that he's going through a personal issue and he hasn't been playing. And when asked about it, they're just like, he's going through a personal issue. So obviously everyone on the internet is like, is he in rehab? Was he an organ donor? Did he lose somebody close to him? And there are people that are like, he should get over it if he lost someone close to him. And then they'll list players that played like the day after their mom died or the day after they lost a child or something like that. And I was like, that's just so unfair that you would say this person needs to be out there playing football because I saw this timeline of someone else's trauma and they were able to do it. So he should be able to do it too. So it's just so frustrating. And you know what? If he is at rehab, good. Let him stay there as long as he needs.
I
don't know.
mean,
It's
grief.
so
Yeah,
frustrating.
grief looks different for everyone. There are many stages of grief, and it's sad to just expect that just because you're in the light or
Yeah.
whoever you are. Like, It takes a lot to get through something and to move on or to get something done that day. Like, be respectful, and no matter how long that looks, just be supportive and help them through it rather than just shame them for it.
Yeah.
We'll never, ever, ever understand someone for telling another person, you should be over this by now. We'll never understand that. Even if you go through exactly the same thing as that person, you have no idea how it's manifested in them, and you have no right to tell them how to deal with it.
Maybe Arlie is the man leaning against the tree. You never
I
know.
would die if they were
She's
like,
be-
actually, it's not a man. it's
had
it's
no-
Arlie.
There's a few things that we learn while DM's in the library that are pretty cool, and we're about to get into that.
Yeah, because an education is the most powerful weapon of them all. And I think that line leans perfectly into chapter 35.
DM is pouring through book after book, learning everything that's been so forbidden to know for any mortal since the Blood War. The most interesting thing is the information she finds on the old gods. All their names have been erased and only vague descriptions are left. DM surmises that the kindred must think a name very powerful, that it's a wonder the Everflame name has survived. The kindred must have came to the same conclusion, thus banning the use of the name Everflame. DM has learned a lot about the Everflame. The old gods were said to sometimes gift its burning branches to people, and its flame was said to never die, and always keep its bearer warm even in the harshest colds. Pregnant women would even risk travel by sea to give birth on the Everflame soil for a chance that their baby be blessed with the sacred power of life. DM realizes the time and reluctantly decides to leave, but she spots a caged area filled with books of the kindred. Since she knows two of them have seen fit to talk about her by name, she thinks maybe it wouldn't hurt to learn a little about them. She uses Yoursel's key to unlock the cage and examines a hand-drawn map claiming to be the original one drawn of Amarian. There's several erased and redrawn lines around the areas where the borders lie, except for one near Montios that was never redrawn. Now, where was it that the man with the same colorless eyes in DM has appeared? Oh yeah, around Montios? DM's eyes land on a case inside and an unmarked journal. As she begins to read it, she realizes it's the journal of Montios, the actual kindred. Scanning the pages, she sees how the mortals worshiped them as gods and that the kindreds were helping them, living alongside them, trying to prevent something like what happened in their own homeland from happening here. The last page has been torn out, but the information before talks about a younger sibling, younger than Montios, who we have been told is the youngest of the kindred, and how they are scared of him because he was not rattled by what happened in their homeland. Instead, he speaks about it with reverence. And just when it's getting good, we are again interrupted. It's Simon here to escort DM back to her rooms and change for dinner. On the way, he purposefully takes her by Luther's room, where he retrieves two female centenaries. They both make crude jokes, and DM spots a naked Luther lying on the bed. Obviously, this is going to mess with DM's head. It would mess with anyone's head. She's trusting Luther, but with all the fucking mixed messages, it's definitely not easy. DM allows the centenaries to bathe her and get her ready while she remains in a haze of hurt and confusion. When it's over, she finally comes face to face with Luther, and he's the picture of princely perfection. Everyone in the group is dressed in Lumnos royal attire. Luther looks like he's bundled for the harshest winter to attack while they're eating. The group all notice that DM's Lumnos crown is different. DM spots just how different it is when she finally looks in a mirror. Here's the quote. The dark, thorny circlet has shifted slightly in shape. The peak in front now mirrored on the opposite end. Nestled between the glimmering points of light, shards of broken crystals seem to form and dissolve. Darren is excited about being able to let loose and indulge in the pleasures of Umbros and leaves the table for alcohol at the earliest opportunity, only to be followed by Alix and Zalaric, who seem to accept the role of babysitting, leaving Luther and DM to converse alone. And to DM's credit, she doesn't shy away from the conversation in front of her. She dives on in. and asks why, when she went to call on him earlier, she was met with
2 centenary women.
leaving his room. Luther, however, does shy away from the convo, saying he's sorry he missed her and she'll know soon enough. Before Diem lets all of her emotions out, she's got to escape, and that is going to be with alcohol, and her bestie Terrence seems like he's ready too. Shots by LMFAO start playing in the background, and the two of them turn up. And then Ambrose and her entourage enter the scene, and Taryn lets Diem in on what his type is. It's a swaggering, barely dressed, and heavily oiled man. Zalaric rolls his eyes at Taryn.
I'm ready for some shots. Bring in the tequila, the lime, a little tahini.
Shot.
Yes.
Maybe a jalapeno, just to give it a little
What do you
spice.
think? Do you guys think that it's the Forgotten Realm, the border that was erased and never redrawn? That's where the ninth kindred was?
Yeah.
Yeah, this also ruins the theory that they may have
Yes.
may have been there forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
They're
theory
I agree.
gone.
Oops.
But it's kind of cool revisiting that because, again, we read this so long ago as a group in our own book club that I feel like it wasn't present knowledge going through making our theories.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of unraveling it as we go and then still picking things that we're like, but I thought this made sense.
I also highlighted pregnant mothers would risk their lives to travel the sea once labor began, believing a child born on the Everflame's blessed soil would be imbued with its sacred power of life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, because Diem was born on the sacred soil.
That's what I was going to say is like, where was Diem born, guys? She was born on the island. So
What are you going to say with that?
I don't know. I'm just excited because I forgot all of this was in there.
Mm-hmm.
I just forgot about it. And then we were thinking about like the ninth realm was supposed to be the center,
Right.
like the middle island. But now, since we see the erased border, I'm pretty sure it was part of Montios.
Yeah, it was 10 realms and then it was still centered.
Yeah, still the Everflame tree in the middle
Yeah.
that the mortals.
I don't know if I pictured where the Lost Realm was at all. I just knew that I've always thought that her dad is a sibling that went crazy.
And they locked him up?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they locked him up on the island.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it says that
But they've also like drained him. They've either put him to sleep or they've like also put him to sleep and drained him of his magic is kind of what it seems like because something she's doing is awakening him.
well, later the Umbros Queen takes her hand and slices it open and like, do you know what why we call it the blood war? And like, this is what's going to be fought over. So I'm pretty sure they've fought over the other kindred's blood.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
it has
the
some
power.
kind of special property.
Yeah, to make you all powerful, to have the power of all the siblings.
Yeah. Diem gets mad. She
Mhm.
gets really mad when she learns that the kindred took where the Everflame tree was and made it their like heartstone and godstone temple. She gets really mad about that. And I thought it was worth noting that like, is the godstone the Everflame tree?
I thought that she already knew that. Like earlier when she's talking about the island, she's like, this is supposedly where the tree was. And she knew people chopped it down. So before this realization, where did she think the tree and the temple were? Like next to each other? I don't know. When she's like angry about this, is it just because she's remembering that? Or is this new information to her? Because I always thought that temple is where the tree was. I think we even talk about that and how the power for the borders comes from that.
It might just be because it's been solidified in writing for her to read that she
Yeah.
gets so angry about it. And just seeing that it's actually true that the kindred took all that they could from the mortals, literally.
And I think what's happening here, it must have been what happened in their homeland. Because they say what happened in the journal entry, it's like what happened in our homeland did not scare him as it should have.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like maybe they came to a new place and then it's just the cycle is repeating itself.
Yep.
Yep. It was cool to read the Montios journal too and see how, like, the kindred gaining different perspectives as they gained love for the race that was there.
Mm-hmm.
And like hit Montios watching them change and Montios themselves changing as well.
They all died for their loved ones.
Or did they?
I just picture them as gods. When she's like, did they die? Did they? There's no afterlife for them. I'm like, well, yeah, kinda. If there is, what their version of afterlife is wherever they're at now.
I know, but before when I asked, you told me they were dead, completely dead.
In their realm's terms, they are dead.
No, they're still like conscious little beings able to say things.
Do you think that they're going to materialize into walking beings and come back?
No.
So would you say that in some way they are dead?
Maybe. Did anybody gain any knowledge about like what the crown's doing? I know we know that it's Montios in her crown. Like that's why it looks different. It's because she's absorbed that already. But the description gives me absolutely nothing.
I don't picture the crown whatsoever, so her explaining how much it's changed, I was like, okay, cool.
Great.
I know it's changing because she's gaining crowns, but yeah, no, I don't. I'm like, I don't. Cool.
Do you guys think Arboros is dead?
Are those the people that don't talk? Wait, Arboros is the one that it lied to her.
Yeah, Arboros, I'm pretty sure, is the one that is working with the Guardians, and she's still alive.
Then no.
She just made it look like she's dead.
No, I think the one that died is the Silent Keeper, right?
Yeah,
when she shows up to that, they're like, "Oh, we thought you knew."
Yeah, Montios is the ancient dude that died.
Okay, then yeah.
And
what's your question?
I don't know. I just was like, do you think that Arboros?
We know she's not dead. We see her in a couple of chapters.
I just couldn't remember if she I don't know. If that was the same one.
The answer to your question is no.
Okay, thanks. Chapter 36. With everyone now seated at dinner, Diem is starting to feel raw from being questioned and the loud, persistent noises in her head. Taryn has made a drinking game out of the whole charade. Alix at least spots Diem's discomfort and tries to switch topics of conversation that don't revolve around Diem. She asks how it is that the Queen's centenaries are all present. The Queen decides to share their secret with their new allies. And it's simple. They hire Luminous Descended to craft illusions of the centenaries throughout Umbros. She even says Zalaric is usually the one at the ports collecting the tariffs. But he wouldn't know because they erase his memories of it. Yikes. Mind magic is seriously scary. Your cell suddenly turns very serious on Diem, sweeping the dishes and drinks off the table into the floor and getting into her face to make a point that once a mind is crushed, there will be no restoration of it. Not even Father Umbros can restore what does not exist. To everyone around them, this looks like a threat, but Diem takes it as a warning from the Queen. After her outburst, your cell orders the mess to be cleaned and new drinks to be brought out. But when Diem brings the glass to her nose, she smells something familiar. She yells in her mind to stop, and everyone, including your cell, complies. The drink is tainted with flame root. Diem's warning comes too late for Taryn. He had already downed his glass. Diem is livid, but the Queen dismisses her and shares a memory of their first meeting. Remember this moment when I could have controlled you. I take it as a kind of now your turn to return the favor and don't control me even though you could kind of warning. Diem thinks about wanting to make a shield that can keep the Umbros people from being able to invade her thoughts, and instantly the godhood answers by making a shield, and the noise that has been plaguing Diem since reaching Umbros is suddenly quiet. Oh shit, it wasn't abnormally noisy here. She was just hearing everyone's thoughts. New drinks are poured. Luther appoints himself food tester and downs the whole glass. But it seems the Queen had actually shared her aphrodisiac wine with them this time, and everyone is in for a pleasurable night. Diem's least favorite century, who she has been referring to as Hagface, proposes they play a game called Mirrors. Here's how it goes. You are asked a question that you are to answer honestly, and you must allow your mind to be read to prove that you aren't lying. It's supposed to show you and everyone else your truest self. DM is declared the winner of the game because of how deeply she peers into her true self for an honest answer. And to reward her for winning, the Umbros Queen decides to answer her question about the war, if she thinks it's possible to escape. Your cell demonstrates the power of having kindred blood and tells how Sophos has been researching it for centuries. No mortal blood has the power to wash away that of the kindred. Only other kindred blood can do that. If two descended share a child, the child will only take on that of one magic, not both parents. But no matter how they try to dilute it with mortal blood, the kindred power will remain. She also questions if she knows the true reason it's called the Blood War, taking DM's hand and slicing it, saying this is what the war will be about, indicating DM's blood. She also says that descended who started the Blood War, herself included, were fools, and that the new crowns refused to learn from them. She's obviously messing with them, but she's also trying to get, like, she's pushing DM to accept who she really is at heart, too, I think.
So something you brought up earlier about Arlie being the redhead and kind of like connecting that to that painting and stuff. I wonder how that would work if Taryn's not, if Teller's not showing any powers. Because this whole time we've led with the assumption that it's her father that has given her power.
If she is the grandchild of the Everflame tree, I don't think it ever says, like, that's just what they worshipped and what gave the land power, but it never says it gave mortals power or anything. So I don't think
so it's not like what she's saying where even though you have had a mortal child or whatever, the kindred's blood cannot be erased is kind of
Well,
what you're
I don't
saying?
think the Everflame tree and the kindred are related whatsoever.
Okay.
I think the Everflame tree is the god that the mortals worshipped and was there before they came, and the kindred are separate.
Okay. I gotcha.
I'm just thinking Arlie is related to the redhead person, and so DM is too. And Teller, we don't know where he was born. The only power that's mentioned is if the baby's born on the island,
Right.
on the sacred soil,
Okay.
which DM was. So if she's gained any mortal-ish power, I think it would be from that.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know if I read the scene. I don't know if DM is using this, if this is a moment of DM showing her power when she says stop, because I read it and I feel like the queen would have been like frustrated with her that she controlled her mind for a second, but it says she smiles. So I don't know. Because she says stop and everyone stops in the room.
Right.
And it does say even the queen. But later on when she like blocks the queen from her mind, the queen gets upset with that. So it seems like she would get upset too if like DM was controlling her.
But the only time the queen gets upset is if there's an audience and they can realize that the queen is being beat out by DM. So
she doesn't want to look weak in front of her own realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when she's like in her mind later, that's not, I don't know.
But DM said that to everybody in their minds. So nobody knows that the other person heard it.
I get what you're saying. I just don't know if she's actually controlling the queen here.
I just don't think it would be mentioned that even the queen stops if it wasn't DM actually in control of her.
I thought it was mainly just because I was flame root. Like everyone stops, even the queen, because she doesn't want to take the flame root.
I don't think the queen would have fed herself flame root. I don't think her drink had anything in it. I think it's like...
Oh, I thought it was all flame root, because don't they get rid of every single one of them and then she...
Maybe it is.
I don't know. I was just rereading it and I don't know.
It's DM shouting in her mind to stop and everybody at the table stops, even though she didn't utter a word out loud. So I just think it is showing
her power
in the Umbros realm. Oh, what I was going to say is like the Lumnos making it a rule that mortals and descended can't have babies, and other places doing that as well. They obviously don't want to make the half mortals that are more powerful than them, but they're also not doing it. They're not like mating. So they're not mating with people from other lands so that their power cannot be taken over. Like how The Umbros Queen has allowed one of her centenaries to mate with a Meros, and she says she knows the Umbros power will overtake Meros power, and that Sophos has wanted to, like, look at this over and over and over again, but she won't allow it. Because Umbros is a stronger magic than Meros, I guess, so it's dominant.
Mm-hmm.
So Lumnos not allowing their descended to have babies with other descended is also preserving their line, but they're still going to become weaker if they're not doing it with mortals.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that point.
The ultimate power is them blending, which
Yeah.
is how they had it made. But yeah, it makes sense why
It's why they're so fearful of
they're
it.
fearful, because you're mating. At the end of the day, someone's going to be more powerful and someone's losing magic.
Yeah,
It's like the
it's a
Sneetches.
genocide in a sense. They're trying to like control
Mm-hmm.
in a slow way.
Yes.
And DM is obviously going to have to kill someone she loves
Yeah,
when their memories are
that's-
taken. And so can't wait to see who that is.
Yeah, so her answer was, I wouldn't choose anybody over anybody. I would literally save everyone.
Right.
And the Umbros...
Which we kind of expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Umbros Queen is like, that's the truth. If she would have said anything else, that would have been a lie. And DM's like, I will do this even if I die trying to
Yeah.
save everyone. So you're foreshadowing for your outcome.
That she's going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm still in the camp that DM dies.
She
But
might
maybe
have to
gets-
be the sacrifice.
It's staying. Maybe she gets brought back to life, even though Jenna hates that. But maybe that's what
Maybe
happens.
she does. Yeah.
Maybe she dies and then the tree saves her.
The
Or all the descended come together and they're like, hey, our homegirl saved us, so let's save her.
I'm not putting anything out.
or
Like
Luther's,
for the possibility.
Luther's tears.
Yeah. They're magic mated.
Chapter 37. When dinner is over, the group and the centenaries head to another area to complete the night. There's drinking and drugs of all sorts everywhere, along with orgies starting up at every turn. Alix seems very popular. Luther is in the shadows alone, although he's briefly visited by Hagface, but she leaves with a scowl on her face. Taryn, Zalric, and Diem are conversing with some centenaries. She asks if this is how they spend every night. They answer yes. Why would they want to spend it any other way? Diem is just blown away because of how lively Umbros is, and she's thinking that being cooped up, drinking, and doing sexual things might get boring after a while. Diem says she would be in the fighting pits every night. Zalric and her share knowing smiles, but Taryn says he could get used to how it is here in Umbros. Zalric comments on how that comes from never having to want for anything. But Diem knows there's something that Taryn has always wanted that he's not allowed to have. A mate. That's when the centenary mated with the Meros man comes up and talks about her mating bond, showing off her mating mark, and Taryn becomes googly-eyed at the sight of it, but Diem doesn't even know what it is. Another instance where education on descended is lacking. The centenary explains that the mark comes from when a drop of blood is shared between two wanting to be mates, and if the kindred deem their bond, loyalty, love, all of that to be true, they gain a mark. The marks are all similar, 2 daggers completing a heart. When one is touched, the other can feel it on their corresponding mark. Taryn whispers, I want that. Someone asks if Diem will do a mating bond with whoever she chooses to take as consort. She says, I'm not sure, but clearly only thinking about if Luther would want that, because obviously she does. Taryn and her step away to grab some more drinks. Taryn is riled up about he and Zalric's little tiff, and he's talking about wanting to kick Simon's ass when the queen shows up. He doesn't back down when the queen questions what he's going to do, but Diem covers his mouth and sends him away. The queen leaves him with a warning. If you kill one of mine, I'll kill one of yours. Then Diem and the queen start to talk. The queen almost lets it slip up that Father Umbros has let her know some things about Diem's future. And Diem really wants to know all that shit. But the Umbros queen won't tell her. She says that she'll let her in on it tomorrow. She also says that Father Umbros only shares information with her like this because of how good she's been to the mortals, and how she culled her numbers down to 100 after the Blood War, even when the other crowns thought her barbaric. But she did it for their own good. Plus, most of the ones who were killed were volunteers. And within the palace, there's a shrine to everyone who committed the sacrifice of their life. Diem tries to understand the thought process behind a queen killing all of her centenaries, but she just can't. The queen shifts the conversation to tell Diem that she knows her time is near and who her successor is going to be. Diem questions her, trying to figure out if there's something that she can do to help. But Yourself says no. The fates have been set, and this one is mine. Diem also questions her, saying Ulthar always thought Luther was going to be his successor. But the Umbros Queen answers, saying Ulthar was sedated and unconscious the last several months of his life. And Diem recalls the lucid moment he had when he looked directly into Diem's face, saying, You finally come for me. Diem tells the queen she doesn't care about fate and that she'll fight whatever fate there is. And the queen says no one can fight fate, but there are things that have been left unanswered. Diem's fate is to wear the crown and to fight a war. But whether she's going to win the war or not is still to be determined. The queen retires to go have sexual relations with the majority of her centenaries, and Diem decides to leave, but not before being stopped by Alix, who tells her there is something off about Luther. At the bathhouse, he claimed he was just tired. Luther Corbois is never tired, and if he is, he damn well doesn't show it. She also reveals that he did congratulate her on her promotion to High General, and he's proud of her and Diem for making that choice. Diem leaves to retire to her rooms unsatisfied and wishing things were different between her and her prince.
The way that Ursula phrases her having to kill her people in order to almost save them. Like, if there's too many of them, everybody will come to wipe them out. So I think that is why she did it. I don't think it actually had anything to do with power. I think it was everybody fears this power the most, which they should, because if you have that power, that's scary.
That's why she had to
And
dwindle
so
her numbers.
She said basically they're coming for the mortals and they were coming for us.
Mhm.
So by dwindling our numbers, I made them less scared of us.
Yeah. She definitely, it's not because she's barbaric and mean. It's because she wanted to survive and she wanted her people to survive, is what I think. I mean, it speaks to the fact that she has a whole shrine room for everybody that she's ever had to kill because of
Yeah.
it, too. And she says that it's an Umbros tradition. So, like, I think it happened in their other realm as well with Father Umbros, that he had to do that and that she's continued it. He favors her.
Yeah. And I also think I don't understand how Diem is paying attention to anything while orgies are just going on around her. And she's like, yeah, they're having sex over there and over there. And then, Alix, tell me what's wrong with Luther. I'm like, how is she keeping any conversation on right now?
Also, what has Alix been doing? Because it was with a crowd of people, and she already said in the game that she would do it with anyone and any number of them.
She's banging like a rabbit. She's mating like a rabbit right now.
Yeah, but then she like takes a break all sloppy and comes to DM like, by the way, there's something off about Luther. I noticed it at the bathhouse.
Something is really, 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 really wrong with Luther. I'm so sorry I waited last minute to tell you.
I'm gonna go bang this other motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't know. That really bothered me that it just ends with, hey, Diem, before you go, before you leave, Luther, that's bad. You were right. You were so right.
Yeah, it's not a great way to end the chapters. I wish we got into the
But
next
we do
one.
get a good line, and that is, the heart doesn't care who it should love, only who makes it sing. Aww.
That is sweet.
Precious. And then, like, doesn't Taryn, like, scoff at that or something?
No, Taryn, like, loves that. He's eating that up.
Does he, like, make eye contact with Zalaric at that point and be like,
Look what we could have had, asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's mad because Zalaric, I think, is like, whatever. And he's like,
He's
as
the
if
romantic.
I would.
Yeah.
What?
As
He's
if
the
I would do
romantic.
anything with you.
I think it's so funny, too, in the previous chapter when they're playing the game and Taryn and Zalaric both won't admit that the other one is the one that they want in the room.
Right.
Like, everyone around him.
Yeah.
knows.
It's so obvious.
And Diem's like, is it this? Is it this? And Luther's like, no, it's not. You're close. There's one other male in our party, and you're not saying his name.
You're not guessing it. I had like one final question.
Mhm.
Do you think that fate can be fought?
I don't know. Like the Umbros Queen says, there is a fate lined out, but there are also some things where you can make your own decisions and the outcome can be different. So like
Like it is fated that you are to be queen, but it is not fated what the outcome of this war is.
Yeah.
I think is kind of similar to what she says.
yeah, and I kind of feel like I might feel the same way.
But like, how can you tell when something was fate and when it wasn't? Because
it's
is
just
fate
you-
only things that have happened?
I think it's just like you putting labels on things.
Like
And
that was
do you want to put
fate.
do you want to put a fated label on stuff, or do you want to just say that everything
I think it's fated that
left up-
Diem's gonna die.
is everything left up to chance, or are there certain things that have to happen in the timeline
Yeah.
of life?
Gonna just say, like, I think fate is something you can fight to an extent. I feel like kind of like what you were saying about the path that you choose to lead will determine the outcome of certain aspects. But like, think about like if the fates cut your thread, that means you're destined for death. Your time is done.
I guess
Wouldn't
I
that be
think-
fated to die?
It would be, but maybe you're fated in her sense to be queen. How she got there may have changed certain outcomes. Maybe I just don't think it's like as clear cut when they're like it's fate in that regard. Maybe
Yeah.
like because obviously in this moment the Umbros Queen is talking about her time is ending. She knows that the fates have told her of her end, and so like she knows that that is approaching.
Yeah.
So in that regard, she's done everything she can leading up to this moment. Does it happen the exact way that she may have expected? Maybe not. Maybe something changed, and that's why she so desperately gave Diem the option of you stay the 3 days, and if you don't, there are consequences.
Yeah, I almost think like there's no fate because it's all up to chance.
And that's fair.
Like,
Yeah.
The way that she phrased it made me think there is no fate. You can only label things that have already happened as fate, and then everything else is an option. I also love that the Umbros Queen's like, yeah, the next person, aka you,
yeah.
is gonna be your biggest hurdle, because that's true. This entire
Yeah.
series, Diem's biggest hurdle besides Henry has been herself.
Besides, get that in there.
Yeah, I have to put that in there.
I mean, that was technically herself as well.
Yeah, but also
he wasn't even
it was
trying to be a
Henry.
hurdle. He wasn't even trying. It was just her continually giving him power to be the
A
hurdle.
chance. Yeah, no, it's Henry's fault, is what you're saying.
Also, I was going to say about fate.
Mhm.
You're fated to die, but if you put a gun in your mouth, you're definitely going to die faster than if you just lived your life out, right?
Especially if the gun's loaded.
That's what I'm saying is, yeah, we can affect fate in some ways,
Yeah,
but everybody gonna die.
you are in charge of your own fate. What that fate is to be determined by the choices that you make within the fate.
Also, I'm not
You're in
advocating.
charge of your own
suicide.
destiny and the path that you lead. You have choices along the way. It's what you choose and how you lead that makes the outcome.
Your fate. Period at the end.
So, do we believe in fate as a group? Yes or no? I think no.
I believe in
I
choice.
think it's complicated.
I believe in labeling things as fate after they've happened. And that's the fate. That's in control of your fate.
Yeah. So honestly, this was fate.
I
There you
don't
go.
know. I'm a little lost, honestly. I don't want to think about it anymore. I need to sit on this.
We need to come back to it.
Let's
Fan-
jump.
Yeah, let's jump to fan theories. Fan theories, I would just say the only thing to note is it is debunked that they
Mhm.
did not come from anywhere else.
Yes.
Yes.
The journal entries are there. We
Yep.
have proof. That's gone. If you believe that, you are wrong, and it is fated that that is wrong. Spotlight, races.
Races.
We're still fundraising for Races, which is a nonprofit that helps immigrant families seek asylum and gain citizenship within the United States. So if you feel called to donate towards that awesome organization or just look them up, check the link in our bio. And Adriana, I think you are wrapping it up.
I am. Now, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. Next episode, we will be doing another author interview. We will be talking with Sasha Preston about her debut novel that came out earlier this year called The Sweetest Getaway. Go grab you a copy so you're ready for next week's discussion. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and tune in every Friday on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast for a new episode of
Book Thoughts.